Okay, when I want to graph an equation like this, I need to graph all the different pieces. So I'm going to find the x-intercepts, the y-intercept, the axis of symmetry, and the vertex. I'm going to find all of those things and then graph it neatly here, and then graph this same one on edge elastic. Okay, so to start with the x-intercepts, what I do is I take, right, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. That's how I find x-intercepts always, no matter what. So instead of this y, I'm going to put 0. So instead of all of this x squared minus 2x minus 8 equaling y, it's going to equal 0 instead. Then I'm going to factor. Remember what I need here? I need two numbers that multiply to -8 and add to -2. So right away when I'm multiplying to a negative, I know, okay, it's going to be one positive and one negative. And numbers that multiply to 8 could be 8 and 1, could be 4 and 2. And I'm looking for numbers, remember one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So when I add them, I'm actually going to subtract them. So which of these pairs subtracts to 2? This one. So I know this is going to be a 4 and a 2. And if I want them to add to a negative number, I need my larger number to be negative. Okay, so I get this. Okay, 2 times -4 is -8. 2 minus 4 is -2. So I'm all set here. Now what I know is that if this times this equals 0, then either this equals 0, that's one possibility, or this equals 0, right? For two things to multiply and equal 0, one of them's got to equal 0. So x could be -2. Now remember, if x is -2, y is 0, right? I plugged in 0 for y right here at the first step. And then here, x is 4. Okay, so I have my x-intercepts. I'm going to go ahead and plot them right now. So -2, 0, that's right here, and 4, 0, that's right here. Okay, now the y-intercept. Here I'm going to plug in 0 for x. Okay, so that looks like this. 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8. Where did I get that equation? Right here. Notice that instead of x, so here instead of x, I put 0. Here, instead of x, I put parentheses 0, because this was 2 times x, that's 2 times 0. Now, 0 squared is 0. -2 times 0 is 0. So this just becomes -8. I plugged in 0 for x, and I got -8 for y. So that's the point 0, -8, and it's right here. Okay, the axis of symmetry. Remember, the formula for this is x equals. It's always going to be x equals, because it's a vertical line, so it has an equation of x equals, and the formula is -b over 2a. Okay, now in this case, b, let's look at the equation. Remember, b is the number multiplied by x, so b is -2. So then, what's -b? It's +2. Okay, remember, when I have -b, that just means it's going to change the sign of whatever this number is. So if b is positive, it becomes negative. B is negative, becomes positive. So this -b becomes 2. And 2 times a, this is a right here, right? There's a, there's b. So a is just this invisible 1. So that becomes 2 times 1, which of course is just 2. This becomes 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and sketch it. It's right here. And it makes sense because look, see how it's halfway between my two x-intercepts? It should always be like that. Okay, so there's my axis of symmetry. Now, I know that my vertex is always on my axis of symmetry, right? Like we can see that on our diagrams, that my vertex is always on, it sits on my axis of symmetry. So I'm lucky that I found my axis of symmetry because now I have an x value to plug in to find my vertex. So I'm going to take this equation, I'm just going to recopy it here, just to make it easier for you to see. And I'm plugging in this value for x. Because I know that's the x value of my vertex. I already know that's the x value of my vertex. I'm just looking for the y value now. 1 squared is 1, right? That's 1 times 1. Minus 2 times 1 is 2, minus 8. And this becomes 1 minus 2 is -1, minus 8, that's -9. So my vertex is 1, -9. And if you take a look, I should have these points should look in a nice parabola shape, right? This is the bottom, this is the vertex. So I'm just going to draw my nice smooth shape. Back out this way. And it's, you know, not the prettiest, but it's all good. Okay, that is your parabola. All right. You're going to graph this one on edge elastic right now, and then you're going to try out a couple more. On the next couple problems, you can use this space, right? This one, and the back of the booklet, sorry. to show you to use the space to work it out and make it easier for you to graph it in Edge Elastic.